Getting into the bank business was by accident.
Agriculture has always been kind of the foundation of this bank, where it all started.
A sense of what family means and how you treat each other within that family.
Being strongholds in the community, we're not going anywhere.
Do you want me to tell you how the financial part of all this got started? It was around the time of the Depression. Colorado was having a horrible drought. And my grandfather, who was in the commission business, knew the drought. And he leased about 10,000 acres in the sandhills of Nebraska that was irrigated, had pretty good, lot of grass, and made a deal with the ranchers if they wanted to bring their cows to the ranch in the sandhills, he would winter them and summer them for them, and then at some point when their grass started growing, they could buy them back, or if they didn't want to buy them back, he would buy them from them. He was a trader. And he had a carrying fee, and I think it was about $40 a head for the pasture for that year. You can imagine the courage it took, though, to do that. I mean, it was a gutsy thing. And that's how they got started. They had 10,000 cows. When they got all through, they had a little less than $300,000. And back in the 30s, that was a lot of money. And that started my grandfather and my dad in the cattle and farming business. Getting into the bank business was by accident. We started in Pilger. A banker had a customer that was buying cattle in Wyoming, but he hadn't signed a loan for those cattle, and he went to Wyoming and was buying cattle, and the banker was financing and wiring him money. Well, before the customer got back to sign the loan, feds came in to examine the bank, and he was in default, and they gave him like 2 days to sell his stock. And he called my grandfather, and he bought the stock, and that's how it started.
So in terms of the generation, we're the fourth generation of the bank. Great-grandfather started it, and then went on. My grandfather ran it for a long time and grew it, and then Bob and my mom grew it thereafter. And then Robin and I have the gavel, so to speak, now.
Quite often when we describe the bank, the word family comes up pretty much constantly. And I think that is a function of the ownership. It is, a family, and with pretty strong family values and a sense of what family means and how you treat each other within that family.
Well, the first memories of the bank were my grandfather. He would come to the bank for meetings all the time. So we always heard about it in family discussions.
I tried to be a teller. I made a few mistakes. And so finally, I think I did sweep the floor a lot, if you want to know the truth.
Probably my first job with the bank was when I was in grade school. Walking to school every day, I went into my dad's office and changed the dates on the date stamp, so I thought that was my important job. We don't even have date stamps anymore, I guess, so yeah, my job's been phased out. Grew up in Pilger, and the bank in Pilger is where it all started, and my dad was there for 45 plus years with the Cooper family, and it's all I've ever known.
Well, if you're in the state of Nebraska, agriculture is important.
Agriculture has always been kind of the foundation of this bank, where it all started.
If you're making a loan, it doesn't matter if it's an ag loan or a commercial loan or a consumer loan. In the state of Nebraska, it is pretty much an ag loan. So one way or another, our business is tied to agriculture.
It goes clear back to our roots. As we've grown and expanded and times have changed, we're into more commercial markets as well, and committed to those markets as well. You know, the future for our bank has been detoured a little bit with having the tornado hit Pilgard. When that hit, and it hit our first bank, our home, where it all started, and leveled it. I mean, the long-time banking relationship we've had was on full display there. I mean, it would tugged at the heartstrings of everybody, and that whole process started the rebuilding of Pilgard, not just the bank.
Those are values that I was brought up believing in, and I saw it with what my parents did in their communities and my grandparents and the communities that they were in.
Transactions come and go, relationships stay and are for the long term.
I think we see the importance of longevity of the bank, and because they are community banks from the perspective of being strongholds in the community, we're not going anywhere. So we really have to keep that succession of the family, what's been bred into us, still in play, all in the name of improving the lives of those people that surround these strong communities. What other changes? Bob, you've seen some big changes.
Well, I have, but I can't remember all of them.
That's probably a good thing at some point.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.